War Stories brought to you by Gary Gruner Chevrolet, Buick GMC in Madras.
1 out of every 7 Central Oregonians is a veteran. In our weekly War Stories series, we introduce you to the story of Central Oregon war veterans, some who made it back from their war and some who didn't. Tonight, we introduce you to the story of Wally Long, a Navy veteran who now calls Bend home.
I was born in Miami, Florida, August 12th, 1947. I lived there 14 years and we moved up to Macon, Georgia. I went to school in Macon, Georgia, Lanier Senior High School. It was a public all-boys school. I was a skinny kid on the football team, got ran over a lot. If you lived in that district, you had to go to the public school. And then if you went to that school, you had to do ROTC. I did 3 years ROTC. When I finished high school, the draft was at the height, the Vietnam War. So I called up the draft lady and she said, "I'm getting ready to mail your notice out." And I went down and begged the Navy to take me. They told me I was going to be a communication technician. And I said, "What was that? What do they do?" And they said, "Well, we cannot tell you because we don't know. It's top secret." They also interviewed my father, his boss, my friends, my relatives. They took my family apart. And I had no idea why I was going. I got orders, and I asked everybody, "Why am I going?" Nobody could tell me. So I went there, and I went to school for about 3 months. I spent 1 year afloat almost continuously on different aircraft carriers, and I was the lead communications technician. We were exposed to very high-level, top-secret information on a daily basis. We were always checked out. They checked out our bank accounts. They checked out everything. A Vietnamese linguist, it was always by my side. Wherever I went, he pretty much followed me because I needed him available. I was primarily a code breaker analyst, so I would take raw data from the operators, analyze it, and I would have to write messages to various agencies on my analysis. At that time, I had 100 operators work for me, and I was just a young guy. I mean, I think I was 23. During the time I was on the USS Kitty Hawk running the detachment, I had one world-changing event, and I wrote a special message, and that message is a who, what, when, where, and how. And when it leaves my system, it has to be literally in the President's hand under 10 minutes. I had served 2 years in the Philippines and aboard ships and also in country doing some really weird things. And so when I came back, I was so excited. We came out in the concourse into the San Francisco airport, and there were some hippies there, and one of the young hippies came over and spit on me and called me a baby killer. And my friend reached in his blouse and was pulling out his .45, he was going to shoot him. And I said very quickly, I said, "No, we're back in the world." That's what we called the United States at that time. And he snapped out of it. And that young person never knew he almost got killed in the airport. But that was a very traumatic moment. I went in 1966 and retired in 1986. I've been to 30 countries. I've done a lot of crazy things in my crypto background, and I do miss it now more than ever. I go to the Band of Brothers every Monday, and the reason I do that is my therapy, because the VA said I have PTSD, and I can talk with other veterans. I love joking around, having a good time. My country is always number one, so I care a lot about the country. Every veteran, I think, cares tremendously about the country that he served or she served.
Thanks to Wally for sharing his story, and a special thanks to Gary Gruner Chevrolet Buick GMC for sponsoring War Stories and giving us the time and resources to tell the stories of Central Oregon's war veterans every Monday night on Central Oregon Daily.